What the fuck is up, friends? Welcome to the 100th episode of Bread and Circuses. Yes, I know we're a week late. I almost died last weekend though, so fuck off if you have a
Yeah,
problem.
dude.
Like,
My child, I'm not gonna go as extreme as my child almost died, but my child was sucking, dude, last
yeah,
week.
it
So
was not the weekend that either of us were in any position to do a
it's a
podcast.
cursed week, man.
It
Last
was bad.
week.
It was bad, man. I had so I can't go too far into detail about it right now because there's a pending civil case.
Look at that swaggy wrist brace
If
there,
you need to
though.
see my infinity bracelet here, I can tell you guys what happened, but I can't really go any further into detail. So me and Ali Kareem were coming back from a show in Des Moines. We were coming back to our Airbnb. So I had rented this Airbnb in Dallas County, Iowa, which I didn't know. I don't know Iowa, right? Because they told us, hey, let's get an Airbnb for the show. So me and Ali drove up to Des Moines together.
That's honestly pretty smart too, because driving all the way back to Omaha, 2-hour trip at like fucking 3 in the morning would have been absolutely ass. So.
Well, because we had to go to Sioux City the next night. Their show there. So we did Des Moines. He hung out and drank at the club. I went to a restaurant with some of the other comics. He met up with me. He got an Uber to the restaurant. And after we left the restaurant at about 11:40, 11:30-ish, so we're going down this highway. So the funny thing is, I've been bragging about how much money I saved, all of us, getting this Airbnb 30 minutes out. And the best comparison I can think of is Dallas County to Des Moines is Plattsmouth to Omaha. So
decent drive.
Yeah,
but not like
30 minutes.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what it is about driving to Plattsmouth because I used to live right down like the highway from there.
Mm-hmm.
That drive seemed like it took like 2 fucking hours from my house to go down because that's the Cass County seat.
Yeah,
and I used to live in Cass County,
sure.
So when I renewed my driver's license, you have to go there, and it's just like, oh, I gotta drive to fucking Plattsmouth again.
It's a rough drive, man. A bunch of nothing, and this is exactly what this drive was. So we're driving. And I'm just middle of the night, and I'm a very good driver in the middle of the night. I've made some long road trips late at night in less than ideal conditions, so I'm pretty good. And I'm not one of those guys that gets drowsy while he's driving and stuff. Like I'm alert, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving down the road, and there's a car in front of me. It's like it's like a Chevy Equinox SUV type thing, and next thing I know, there's an accident in front of me. This pickup truck that was coming the other way runs into this Equinox, and I'm like, it's hard to explain. So it hit the Equinox, and it was like a soft hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So next thing I know, this pickup truck's coming at us, right? We were about 2-3 car lengths.
Oh my God, he crashed into 2 people.
He hit 2 people, and we took the harder hit because it was going about 60. I think the pickup truck was going about 60. It was like a 55 mile an hour. So
and it was like a head on too. Fuck that.
It was almost head on. I swerved. If I didn't swerve, God knows,
he probably would have been dead.
I don't know if I would have been, but Ali might have been.
Oh God, dude. That's
so
terrible.
I took it it was the driver's side took the hit, the biggest hit, and we took a direct hit. And I felt bad for Ali because he woke up. He was passed out. He had been drinking. I hadn't been. We did the responsible thing. That was the fucked up part, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had been drinking. I hadn't been. He wakes up. The first thing he sees is this truck coming at us. The first thing the dude sees when he opens his eyes.
Oh my God.
Because the sound of me going, fuck, woke him up. And dude, it's like louder than a gunshot going off. The fucking airbags going out and the cars slamming into each other.
Usually your hearing is like all messed up.
Well, what was weird, and I don't know, because you've been in combat situations, so maybe you can explain it better. But
I've never been in like the typical combat situation.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been like shot. All that crazy stuff.
So I don't know. Maybe you can still explain it, because everything around me seemed to go amber, like my eyesight.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was what was weird. But it was,
no, I don't know about anything about that. But
my mindset,
I'm getting into a really. I just recently got into like a low speed car collision.
Yeah.
So like I know that like that crazy feeling of like you hear the ringing in your ears because it's really loud when you crash a car, and it's very disorienting.
Yeah. Well, so it fucks you up, man. Like it makes you feel like, I don't even know. I don't know how to describe how it makes you feel. Like the adrenaline high that's a good word. The adrenaline high makes you feel high. And so my thought process was so weird during this whole thing because trucks coming at us, my first thought was, okay, I'm Caleb. I don't get in car accidents. I swerve past them all the time, right? I'm going to swerve past this one. I did not swerve past this one. I swerved us into a ditch after, well, I didn't swerve us into a ditch. I tried to swerve off the road. He blew us into a ditch. So
right, that would have been cool if you would have just fucking dodged that.
So if that other car hadn't have been there, that's what would have happened. If that other car wasn't there, he would have blew right past us because of the trajectory and everything. We might have clipped like the end of his truck. It would have been a way less bad accident, though.
Yeah,
basically what I'm saying. So, he then right after he hit us, I'm like, okay. It was so weird because I wasn't happy about it, but I had come to terms with the logic that I was not going to survive this because no one takes a direct hit from a pickup truck and lives. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. Then I didn't. And then we didn't roll, but we fell into the ditch. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to die. And then I didn't. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to be paralyzed. So I wiggled my knees and I'm like, wow, my legs are working, all my extremities. I'm like, so Ali's got to be dead, right? Right. Ali can't be alive right now. The passenger never makes it. So I turn over and there's Ali just going, like he didn't even know what to do. I feel bad laughing at him because he was it was a combination of just shock and pain that he was going through.
No, that's a sympathetic laugh, dude. It would be fucking terrible to just wake up from like being drunk and then just like in a car accident.
Well, I don't think being drunk helped him. I think that
that only made it worse, man. That's like amplifying it. Yeah.
Thank God there was some guy that witnessed it because we had no idea where the fuck we were. I'm like, I know I'm 10 minutes from my Airbnb. I don't know this fucking city. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything about Iowa. I get lost in Council Bluffs half the time. So it's like, I mean, thank God some guy witnessed it there. And
the car in front of you guys, yeah.
Oh no, there was a fourth car that witnessed it.
Oh, there was a fourth. Jeez,
so
man,
the kid that hit us was 16 years old, passed out drunk at the wheel.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
driving his dad's pick-em-up truck.
I don't know. The car was registered in dad's name, but the craziest shit was like, I just like, my thing is like, look, I was like, we were all bad kids per se, right? Like we all smoked weed and drank, and there were probably a couple of times that we had one more beer than we should have when we got behind the wheel of a car, but never once can I remember getting behind the wheel of a vehicle inebriated to the point where I was passed out drunk. That's a lack of regard for human life, and it's a product of not being raised properly, in my opinion. Yeah. Like that's and I'm not going to get, like I said, I can't go too deep into it because there's a civil case pending, but yeah, I mean, dude, it was fucking traumatic. I didn't sleep much that night.
Yeah, man, I can imagine you're probably sleeping well right now. Like it's not fun, man. I know.
I have to take, I mean, I'm popping a couple melatonin a night to sleep, and it's
how's
like
Ali holding up,
Ollie's even worse.
Ugh. Is Ollie still able to go to the clubs and stuff? Like, is he?
Yeah, he's still doing comedy. I mean, honestly, man, like we did the show the next night. We didn't cancel. I'm like, we can get there in one piece. It's fucked up, but like at the end of the day, it's a job.
Yeah, damn, man, that's some real life circumstances there. That like, it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do about that, man? You would have left like 5 minutes later. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, that's the crazy. Like, that's what like the whole thing I was thinking. Because on the way to our car, we saw this comic from Des Moines that was at the show that said hi to us, right? And it was a female comic, and I get goofy around female comics because I don't want to get me too'd. So they like lean in for hugs and shit like that. I ain't about that. I get kind of goofy and I'll like shake their hand, unless it's Carmela, because Carmela's like my aunt.
Right? Carmela's like everyone's. Carmela's everyone's like aunt or something. Like that.
Carmela's my black aunt, right? I'll hug Carmela. But that's different. But other female, especially ones that are like my age, like, no, I'll shake your hand or whatever. And I got like finicky like that, and I like shook her hand, and all I could think was like, if I hugged her and just didn't go and just went straight back to the car, that split second could be the difference between life and death. You know what I mean? If I sit there and we talk to those people for another minute, we drive past it in the ditch. We might not even see it, right?
Yeah, for
real.
Like
it's just so crazy. Like life is literally about inches and seconds. Yeah. Like that's my Keanu Reeves thing might have saved my life, where I won't touch females that I'm not dating or related
Literally,
to.
Dude.
Like,
I mean, dude, it takes like crazy life circumstances like that to really like make you think about that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
It's like the Al Pacino speech in what was that movie? Was that The Replacements? Or Any Given Sunday?
Yeah,
He's
Al
like 1 inch.
Pacino's not in that one. That's
Who's Any Given Sunday? He's like he's 1 second too late and you miss the ball. You know, 1 inch too slow. Right? It's fucking crazy. Like how if you think of it, life is literally about inches and milliseconds.
I mean, hey, you know, that's cool though. Like thinking back on it, that's cool that you were like, oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, okay. Like,
yeah, it's weird because like I think everyone should have a near-death experience, as terrible as that sounds, because like you think about life differently. It's like, okay, like maybe death's not as scary. Like it happens and it's over. You know, it's not. You know, it's not so like because we've talked on the show before. I'm a hypochondriac. I haven't had a fit since. Like I haven't had an anxiety attack about it since because I've been like, that's a real thing that can actually kill me. Not thinking that I have a headache or I have a brain tumor because I have a headache. Like that's ridiculous. That's what almost dying actually feels like,
Yeah.
So,
well, shit. So that's, I didn't have quite as extreme of a weekend as that for sure.
Yeah. What happened with you?
I celebrated my daughter's first birthday. So
happy birthday.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. A weekend around that would have been our 100th episode. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, though, yeah, she turned a year last week, and I had like my mom come down here we did like a little party for that and everything, but about 3-4 days before her actual birthday, she got what I only can assume was rotavirus, which is like it's really common for pretty much every kid's gonna get it by the time they're 3. It's kind of like the one of the actual viruses that causes like the stomach flu.
Okay.
So I don't know. Have you ever had the stomach flu before? Like it's
plenty of times. Yeah.
I think everybody's probably had it by the time they're an adult. It's pretty fucking terrible, right?
I've had it as a kid. I've had it once as an adult. Yeah.
When you get it as an adult, it's like not nearly as bad because you have like immune system built up. So like my poor daughter is going through this shit for like 5 days. Like, babies don't have immune systems, and like kids and stuff, babies get it pretty commonly because like they just literally like put their hands in their mouth all the time because they're teething. So I mean, I feel like I do a pretty good job of keeping everything sanitized and everything in here because I'm super paranoid about that. But
right. Oh, since your COVID thing,
yeah, exactly, dude.
I don't fucking blame you.
I keep like a tube of like those Clorox wipes handy and literally wipe down like everything all the time. But it's just like, I mean, it could have been from going down to the park. You know what I mean? Like
you could get it anywhere.
Yeah, who fucking knows, like, man? Teething kids
could have carried it back from the grocery store, like literally, like
like teething kids put their hands in their mouth like all the time.
Yep.
And it's just super contagious. Like my wife actually, I guess both of us ended up like contracting it, but my wife way worse. So last weekend was pretty terrible too, because like Anna was like bedridden for a day, and my child, we had to get like these crazy like infant like anti like stomach pain drops and stuff and feed it to her with Pedialyte, and like it was absolutely terrible.
That sounds awful, man.
I didn't sleep like really at all because she would wake up in the middle of the night screaming because she was in pain.
Right.
I mean, like everybody's had like some fucking terrible diarrhea. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was like. I just couldn't imagine like you're just a baby and you don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? So that's why we didn't do an episode last week.
Lots of reasons we did not do an episode last week. Yeah, it was dude, that the Suez, like I did comedy the next night, right? On 4 hours of sleep, and like dude, you could tell like it was me and Ali, and then David Terrell Green and Xavier came in from Omaha.
Yeah,
and you could tell which two of us were hit by a truck the night before.
Did you guys say that during the show too? Like, hey,
no,
sorry.
Well, I mean, like I explained what happened and I tried to make a joke out of it. I tried to like write jokes about it on the way there, but I was just so fucking rattled, man.
Do you think Ali's do you think you or him have any kind of brain anything? Like, have you
no,
guys
we
got?
didn't hit our heads.
Oh, that's good, man.
We've
You guys
got
both had your seatbelts on, it seems like, because
yep.
if you didn't, one of y'all would have been ejected out of the car. So
Oh yeah. I mean, I popped the airbag with how
yeah.
hard it hit my fucking wrist and chest because I
Sheesh,
was
dude.
gripping the steering wheel so hard. That's how I got my sprained wrist.
Mhm.
I mean, so I was showing Mia some clips of Sam Kinison, the comedian, a couple nights ago, and we were just laughing about it. And I knew he died in a car accident between
He
shows.
did, yeah. He was like driving to a show or something in California, wasn't he?
Looked this shit up, dude. Sam Kinison's Wikipedia page, and that shit gave me the fucking chills. Sam, not only did he die by that, he was killed by a teenage drunk driver in a pickup truck who fell asleep at the wheel and crossed over the line while he was driving to a show and hit him. The one difference two differences. Number one, I lived. Number two, I was wearing a seatbelt. Sam Kinison wasn't. That was the only difference.
Do you think you were driving like more cautiously too because Ali was in the car with you?
No, I mean, define more cautiously. Like, I'm a cautious driver.
Well, you had a passed out guy in your car from and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't driving or anything.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like if I was driving like one of my friends like that, I would be like more like, oh yeah, I gotta make sure he's okay, so I'm all alert.
Yeah, I treat other people in the car the same respect I treat myself. You know, I have I want to protect my own life and my own physical well-being, so I'll never drive like it, regardless of who's in the car.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, of course, I want to look out for my friends when they're in the car. So that's fair enough. You do drive a little bit more cautious with another person, I guess.
That's serendipitous as fuck, man. Like,
right, man. But it was so creepy to read how Sam Kinison died versus how I almost died. I'm like, and so it was just reading that. I was like, holy fucking shit, man. But so
Caleb just having a life-altering experience, man.
So
now he can see ghosts.
Right? It's like, the demon in my closet won't go away now. No. So you told me you had a weird feeling about it, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I texted Caleb about. So I remember this, right? Caleb was doing the show with Lavetti, right? He was over in
He was in Des Moines. He was in the Des Moines show, yeah.
So I see on one of the social medias that like Lavetti's like, hey, I'm gonna be driving out to to Des Moines.
Not California. There's a difference.
Yeah, not to California. I'm driving out to Des Moines, like see y'all there, and just typical like, hey, I'm doing a show here, like wish me luck type stuff. And like, I don't know why at all, but the first thing that pops into my head is just like, man, I hope he drives safe, man. Like, how fucking terrible would that be if he got into a car accident, like going there or coming back or something like that? Like, I mean, like he's doing, he's doing his passion and everything, and just like, yeah, he's got a son, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that'd just be fucking horrible, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I see on Caleb is like on his Snapchat, he's like, well, got into a car accident yesterday. And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
Like, I felt like I had premonition about that because I remember like telling Lavetti like, yo, drive safe, man. Like,
yeah. So the crazy thing is, you are one of 4 people to tell me something like that. So I'll tell you. So there's what you said. Xavier Jones, who was on the Sioux City show, was originally planning to come out to Des Moines to hang out with us, right? Just hang out at the show, go out and eat or whatever after it was over, for Friday night, and then drive to Sioux City with us. He said a couple hours before, like he was going to text me, and then a couple hours before, he started getting a weird feeling that something wasn't right and that he shouldn't go to Des Moines, and he did it. So he decided not to. That's the second thing I heard. The third thing I've heard, there's another comic that he comes to our open mic we host on Thursdays at Wired Pub and Grill, 8 p.m. Come check it out. But he was there. He shows up with his wife all the time. And his wife told me, and he confirmed this. He backed this up. I had him in separate rooms. They both told me this. Well, she told me outside that he had a dream, or she had a dream that I got hit by a car and I fell over and died right in front of him. Like I got in a car accident the night before. So she had that dream Thursday night, the night before we left. And the whole day Friday, she was like, you need to check on Caleb. Something's not right. And then Saturday, she wakes up to see I got in a car accident.
That's so fucking weird, man. Because I'm not one of those doomsayers that always think something's gonna. I'm actually usually
no, you've never said anything like that. Like
I'm always like the kind of person that's like always really positive about stuff. Like I'm like, oh, if somebody else is like, oh, we could get into a car accident, I'm like, nah, man, we're gonna be fine.
Like statistically speaking, right? Yeah,
yeah, for real, dude. Like, so it was just so weird that like I had that feeling.
Yeah.
Literally the day before, like,
yeah.
oh man, that would suck if you got into a car accident. And then like, yeah, that happened the next day. I was like, that's so weird, dude. Like,
so the fourth thing that happened was, so Mia came with us, right? But she wasn't feeling, and this is kind of another thing, I guess it'd be 5, but so she wasn't feeling good before we went out. Like we got to the Airbnb, and for those of you that don't know, she's epileptic. So she started feeling super lightheaded. We were running late to the show. I'm like, look, we don't have time to like wait for you to start feeling better. We got to bounce. Like, here's some medicine, just lay down and go to sleep kind of thing, right? So she stayed at the Airbnb because she wasn't feeling good. So she wasn't there. So here, that was
fucking guardian angel or something.
I know, right?
Man. Like,
well, so where she had been riding in the back because she wanted like me. She was just letting me and Ali talk while she listened to music. So the back was actually untouched. Now, mentally, she would have been fucked.
Well,
but
do you think, was it possible that, because I don't know epilepsy that well, but is it possible that she could have had a seizure like triggered from getting into an accident like that? I mean,
technically, yeah, she could have been stressed to the point where she did. Yeah,
because that's pretty stressful, man. Like, because sometimes, especially if you're in the back seat, just not paying attention, like it just happens out of nowhere. Yeah,
but that wasn't the big kicker. So the point I was getting at was me, and I totally spaced off because I was like, wow, that's number 5 right there that she didn't go. But number 4, I guess, was my mom watches my dog whenever I go out of town for shows or anything like that, because she knows her and stuff like that. So my dog was over at my mom's house. My dog, when we go to bed, it's bedtime. She passes out. She don't get up till I do. Right? She's older, so my mom said 15 minutes. 15 minutes before I called her, which would have been right as I got hit, my dog woke up in the middle of the night and started running around the house crying.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Right?
If you didn't have Ali there, man, maybe something it would have been where Ali's got like a guardian angel, man.
I don't know, man.
That dude survived the
maybe
invasion of Iraq and shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe I should be Muslim now.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's so crazy. That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
like my dog, like never, ever, like. She like didn't want to go outside. She didn't want food. She was just pacing around the house crying. And it's like, I was 100 miles away. Like,
that's so weird, bro.
That's so fucking weird. Like, dogs have like a connection with their owners. I believe that.
Yeah. It's like all these people that were like close with you. So it's like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, man, I don't get those kind of weird feelings very often. And so like the fact that I was getting that shit is, and then everybody else was, I'm like,
yeah, I'll listen to people's intuition next time. Like, my God. So
that's a lot. It's a lot of negative energy about a road trip, Caleb.
Dude, you're fucking telling me. I'm like, and people ask me like if I'm like scared to go back out like to like long distance shows. I'm like, not really. Like, am I supposed to be? Like, like I've definitely, don't get me wrong, man.
That could happen at any time.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen going to work in the morning, right? Like, most accidents occurred less than a mile from your home. But like, I mean, I don't want to underplay or downplay it. There's definitely some PTSD. Like, I'll see the truck coming at me and think, how the fuck am I still here? Like, I don't sleep much without aid from drugs. So it's like,
Yeah, you should. I know. Hopefully it doesn't turn into something too bad, but one of the pretty bad things about that is like if you're driving, you know what I mean, and like you see like a semi truck pass you at night, like it can make you start feeling weird, like unconsciously and stuff. Like,
so,
well,
I
really
haven't
weird, man.
come to that yet, but so the other weird thing is when we got hit, and I don't know what caused this, but there was like a burning plastic smell. Like the engine wasn't on fire, but there was like a burning plastic smell.
That's really common when you get hit in the front. I don't know if it's like the electricity from the wires in the engine or something like that or what, but I know, dude, even when I got my low speed one, where it jacked up the front of my bumper, like,
there was that smell.
Honestly, too, it might be because the airbag deployed. It might just be the smell of the airbag. Like,
but
I know that smell though.
Yeah, and it smelled like it when I got into it the next day at the impound lot. But dude, it's like anytime I smell something burning, I like flinch back now. Like
Yeah.
that burnt plastic smell.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, and then I was serious. I was sitting there today and I heard a boom. And dude, I swear to God, that shit's louder than a gun going off.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sound of a car accident. I was sitting there at work this morning and I just heard boom. And I'm like, well, that sounded familiar.
You know what you should do, man? Go talk to Tim. See
Tim's
if
a
he's,
great, yeah.
because I know he's one of the guys that would be a good resource to talk about that, because it's like I used to talk about this with dudes in the army. It's like
Yeah.
when you're like a soldier, dude, when you think of PTSD, you only think of it from people getting it from like combat experience and stuff, like
Yeah.
and blown up or whatever. But we're just sitting there like, man, that's like a really dumb thing to think, because like, I mean, dude, you could get into a fucking car accident or like,
rape victims,
know what I mean? Like
stuff like that.
see somebody get killed in front of you or something like that, and like
Well,
have the same feeling. It literally all it is the amygdala in your head getting bigger because of some stressful event. Like the amygdala handles stress. So
well,
yeah, like
Tim was actually, because Tim does a lot to help like vets overcome PTSD and stuff. So he was actually one of the first people I reached out to.
That's good.
And he told me that he's like, dude, I've been in bad accidents. He's like, because Tim's been in, I think he talked about it, he's on our show. Tim's been in a Humvee that got blown up by an IED. Tim's been shot at, all kinds of stuff. He said the worst PTSD he experiences though is from car accidents. It's from bad accidents. Because he's like, I mean, think about it. At the end of the day, if someone's shooting at you, you can shoot back, right? Your Humvee going over an IED, I mean, that's a freak. Like, you don't see it. It's just an explosion.
That doesn't happen
like,
in the States.
Fuck?
Car accidents do
that
like...
as well. But a car accident, is the only one of those three where you can see something coming at you and there's nothing you can do about it, realistically. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you do?
The one I never, like, they tried to tell me it was something like, for what goes on with me, that it was like linked to one incident, because that's what they tried to do when they diagnose you with PTSD.
Sure.
Is that they'd be like, oh, it's from one specific
because
event.
You're gay.
Yeah. That's what took a doctor to tell me, a psychology doctor to tell me. No. They try to link it to one event, and they like are like, yeah, this one thing causes you to do this, and we just basically have to tackle your like mental understanding and get over this one event. But it's like, for me, man, I never really had like one really, really crazy event like that. For me, I think it was just like a prolonged stressful experience for fucking so long that like I think I just have like stress related anxiety rather than like actual PTSD, which, I mean, as soon as they fucking legalize marijuana nationally, dude, maybe think that's what my mom does. My mom has like anxiety, and maybe it's just a genetic thing, but she says she treats it pretty well with
marijuana. You know what you should try? I wasn't a believer in this until Tim was actually the one that turned me on to it. Tim Lackler. It's called ashwagandha root. You can get it on Amazon. 2 months supply is like $19, and it'll take about a month before you start seeing results. But like, I've used it. I used it for my health anxiety, and it was, dude, like, I'm not saying it's a fucking end all solution, but it had an effect. Like, you could, so like, I would get after the first month, I would get anxiety attacks, but I would know I was being ridiculous. It was weird. It was like a conscious anxiety attack. It's like, okay, I'm freaking out about this, but I know it's not real. You know what I mean? And then after that, I barely got them at all. Like, so I don't know. It's like,
it might be looking into, because I keep trying, or I've tried to get the VA to help me out with it, but like, I mean, dude, they'll give you some crazy fucking medicine.
Oh, they'll put you on drugs that make it worse.
Zombie. Yeah, it's like, I don't really feel like doing that, man.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
it's not that crippling. Like,
when Tim was here, it's like he was talking about, he was on blood thinners to offset the drugs, or to offset the side effects of a drug that was there to offset the side effects of another drug. It's ridiculous. Like, it's just, they throw pills at you. And
yeah, it's pretty nasty, dude. I already have to take a ton of pills anyway right now for
yeah,
like stuff like
pain and shit. Yeah.
not necessarily pain, but like I do
Oh, you got thyroid. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, dude, I have like thyroid
Like my
issues,
dog.
which is something. Yeah, that's not something that's supposed to affect you until you're like 40.
Yeah.
I got it at 20 fucking 3 because the prolonged stress that I was under, dude.
I
Like,
believe it, man.
it's fucking not good.
No, I believe it. It's you know what fucks your thyroid up? I've heard is a vegan diet.
A vegan, yeah, I've heard that
I've
too.
heard that'll fuck your thyroid up.
I've heard diet really. That's whenever I'll bring that up actually a lot when if you're having like the discussions with the vegans where they're like, there's literally nothing that can go wrong with it. It's like,
I don't talk to vegans, so I don't know.
Yeah, for real, right? Dude, so we kind of reflected for the last couple weeks here for I'd say like maybe like 20 minutes or so.
Like
Do we gotta talk about the Suez Canal thing. Like, it's so
why don't they just hit it with another boat? Why has this not been tried yet?
Like, I made a joke that I thought was pretty funny where it's like, hey, now people know where the Suez Canal is. Like,
right. Yeah. At least people know. Honestly, like Jordan told me about it Friday. I hadn't heard anything about it. Nothing. I hadn't heard a word about it.
You know how I heard about it was you know how maybe there's been like a global shortage of like computer parts, like graphics cards and stuff.
That was before this though.
Yeah,
COVID,
I think
right?
we talked about it on the show. Like, it's the COVID is just like factories aren't as manned, like they can't.
Yeah, that's part of the ammo shortage too.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that's in manufacturing right now, I'm surprised. It's probably not a car shortage because most of that shit's done by robots anymore.
Yeah,
but like any kind of small assembly line type stuff.
Cars
like
are
that,
too.
Yeah,
I read an article yesterday that said the average amount of cars on a new dealership's lot were 600. They're down to 300.
That three new ones.
300. Sorry.
Oh, 300.
No,
I was about to be like, damn,
yeah, that would be bad.
Half is still pretty crazy though. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's been staying inside from quarantine for the last year too. Everyone's been wanting to fucking build gaming PCs and they can't because all the graphics cards. Like, people were like at the beginning of this Bitcoin craze, people were like, oh yeah, data mine fucking Bitcoin with the GPU processor and stuff. It's like, but I can't because they're on fucking shortage. It's like, so everyone's been talking about that for a while, right? And then apparently on this fucking boat that's stuck in the Suez Canal is a bunch of fucking graphics cards that were supposed to come to the United States. And it's like jokes, people like, oh yeah, I'm finally getting my GPU, but it's stuck in the fucking Suez Canal. Like,
so like, how did it happen? Did he just like not turn it correctly or not account for the current?
No idea. Have you seen the pictures of the boat there? Yeah. Like, honestly, I know this is a problem.
They just got it out, right?
I don't know. I haven't checked onto it today because this has been like a daily thing. But I'm sure I knew they were going to get it out eventually. But yeah, I know this is a problem because the Suez Canal was literally built like forever ago. Like, this was something that Germany and Britain were fighting over in World War I. Like, so like 100 years, right? I know of an issue that they experienced with the Panama Canal. I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal. But with the Panama Canal was when they originally
built that, right?
Yeah, when they originally built it, they built it for the ships that were common shipping, like ships of that time.
Sure.
Well, now they have these super fucking cargo ships that are like, crazy bigger than those, and they have troubles getting through the Panama Canal. And they can't get through because literally the locks, like, how it like raises something and then it like lowers and then raises the water. Well, those ships can't fit in those locks. So like these humongous ships have to like literally make the old school trip of going down around Cape Horn.
Okay. And there's pirates and shit down there. So
no, down there is, it's just a long ass trip because you have to go all the way down South America. Yeah, it's just a way longer trip. Like, so I'm sure that's if you look at the Suez Canal, like with this ship that got stuck, bro, it like barely fucking fits, man. Like, you hear those people make analogies of driving like diesel trucks where they're like, yeah, it's like driving the Titanic in a bathtub. It's like, it's almost what it looked like, man. Yeah. Like, literally,
it's not very big.
Yeah, the Suez Canal, like the amount of distance that was between like the walls for the ship on either side looked like it was skinnier than the actual length of the ship. So
Yeah.
they were fitting a real Magnum ship in there, dude. Like,
how would you like to be the captain, though? Like, okay, so think about this.
Put it in these terms. Job.
Oh,
for sure.
Put it in these terms. Think of your worst day at work. Think of your
the absolute worst thing that could possibly
day
happen.
At work that you've ever had. Now think the whole world knows about it. Think about the worst set.
Not only did you shit your pants at work in front of like a bunch of customers,
the entire world knows.
They Snapchatted it, they made a TikTok about it, and it got 100 million views, dude.
Imagine like your worst set as a comic on stage. Now imagine they use that as a Netflix special.
Imagine that you said the N-word on it,
and they use it they put it on Netflix, right? Like
that's
pretending
like
you were Dave Chappelle. Like
that's like what happened with fucking the guy from Seinfeld, the guy that played Kramer. Remember, man? Like,
what did he do?
He's have you never heard that?
I didn't watch Seinfeld.
Well, it's from the 90s. He was like a pretty big stand-up comedian, you know, all those guys were. And the guy that played Kramer like went crazy on stage one time and kept like calling somebody like the N-word, like hard R and everything. And this is like the 90s, bro. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's why he don't do stand-up anymore. That pretty much killed his career, man. Like,
oh my God.
And dude, for one, that was the 90s. So like information did not get around very fast.
Yeah. There was
as it does now.
There was a football announcer that lost his job because of something like that, like in the 80s or 90s. It was I don't remember what his name was. There was a black guy took off running downfield, and he was, nobody near him. He was going to score. And the announcer said, "Look at that little monkey run." And
oh my God, dude.
He was never back on again. I'm going to see who that was, so I don't misquote
that was in
anybody.
The 80s too, like when they let a lot more stuff go during the 80s.
They let a lot more stuff go 5 years ago. Howard Cosell during 1972. That was the 70s.
Sheesh, dude, why you fucking gonna say that?
1970s, he said that, and it's, oh my God, I couldn't. Yeah, he fucked up, and it's I don't know why he would say that though.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
So speaking of getting shut down, I don't want to keep going back to last weekend, but I did the show in Des Moines. I am no longer allowed at that club.
You'll get that sometimes with this style of comedy you do, man. What happened? Was it a joke you made or what?
It wasn't any one joke, dude. Like, I only had 15 minutes, so I didn't get to, like, I have some really raunchy shit, like stuff where I like victim shame the Sandy Hook parents that Alex Jones harassed.
Nice.
And make fun of so there's a part of my set, I don't want to spoil it, where I'm making fun of the Special Olympics, and I say the rest of my set I'm just going to talk about retards playing sports. Who saw the WNBA game last night?
Oh my God.
Ableist, sexist, you name it, right? But I didn't even get to any of that. I did not do the most offensive set I had. And I walked into and it was partially like, look, you got to know your audience a little bit, right? Like my material is going to be too raw for them anyway. I might as well not get assaulted after the show. But I went into the audience and I saw 70% college educated white women, my natural enemy, right?
Rip.
So yeah, there was Jacob Wilson was the opener that night, and he was like, he's like, I saw Caleb. He's like, I went in here, I took one look at the audience, and I was like, Caleb, you might as well just turn around and go home, which I should have given the circumstances of what happened afterwards. But
damn, man, you just had a terrible day that day, bro. Like
it wasn't
after another.
It wasn't my worst set, but it was not my best set. I had a chick flipping me off in the front row, dude. There was a bridal shower for a bachelorette party.
Hey, I will say this. That much respect doing a fucking bachelorette party at a comedy club. That's absolutely pretty fucking cool.
Well, so there was a bachelorette party, right? And there's these 3 or 4 girls, and I was like, oh, who's the bride to be? And the girl raised her hand. I was like, yeah, where'd you guys meet? And I was expecting she's gonna say online, because I have a material about online dating I do and shit. But she's like, oh, we met in high school. And I was like, oh yeah, you're not getting married. Or no. I didn't say you're not getting married. I said, oh yeah, I give it 3 years tops.
Nice, dude.
Am I wrong though?
That's
seriously. Funny. Oh, I like, honestly, if I married my high school sweetheart, I would have swallowed a shotgun shell by now. Like, seriously, like it just, oh God,
it's funny as fuck, man.
But But yeah, so it was not my best set. The owner came up to Ali, who put that show on after the fact, and said, "You can't have him or anyone like him back here again. Like, we have a cancel culture audience, and we can't have that." And I'm like,
dude, all the Iowa State people and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's a lot of college kids. And I'm like, look, dude, I get it from a business perspective. You're trying to pay your bills, but that shit's not sustainable. You know, when you constantly bend to the mob just takes more and more ground as they go, right? Eventually they're going to come for you, right? It's that
I think
constantly bend to them.
I think with shows like that, man, like telling somebody that their marriage isn't gonna last. Like, I get it as a comedy show, but it's like, you know, I think you got to know the kind of comedian. Like, if you're gonna go to a show like that, you got to know you're going to like see Daniel Tosh or something like that. You know what I mean?
I knew it at that point. I was already dead in the water, and I'm like, let's see how far I can take this ship down.
Jesus Christ. You at least get some laughs.
Like, yeah, no, I didn't do bad. Like I said, it just wasn't great. And I remember
he just had some really negative reactions.
Yes, and it was, you know, not every audience is going to be mine. I'm cool with that. You know, I know that I'm funny to select groups of people. You know, it's a niche audience. But the thing,
you're gonna be, it can't be Kevin Hart, man. Where you're fun.
Yeah, well, and that's my problem, honestly, is I wouldn't want to be. I don't want to appeal to a bunch of people, because when you appeal to, like, when the mob is your biggest fan and you constantly bend to them, like I was saying, like, eventually they're going to come for you. You're always going to be looking over your shoulder. Like Ari Shafir, Louis J. Gomez, Big J. Okerson, those guys say whatever the fuck they want. They don't make near as much money as like a Kevin Hart.
Good enough living,
or John.
Though, you know?
They make a good living, and they're not constantly looking over their shoulder. What is your mental health worth? That's
plus really, really vile comedians. There's work for them. Like, you can do stuff where you go to like roasts and stuff like that. Like that's that kind of fueled. Like,
yeah, I mean, I know what my audience is. My audience was the audience the next night, so it's all good.
There you go. It's all
you
good.
know, it's all good.
We've been. Well, I was gonna say we've been going for like an hour, so that's.
Should we cut it off here?
I think so, because I know my child's in the other room fucking screaming. So
yeah, I got a couple things I gotta work on too. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Episode 100. We definitely appreciate the loyalty.
We're in 3 digits now, and we haven't been canceled, for what I understand.
Don't you have to start to get canceled though?
Hey,
no, it's like our audience.
The people that have been.
What's that?
The people that have been with us. Well, I mean, the people that have been with us, because I have been listening to us for 100 episodes, man. Much appreciated. Like, it's like we've been doing this for fucking 2 years already, dude. Like,
yeah. It's like I said, though, I'm not worried about our audience canceling us, because we haven't we haven't tried to attract those types of people. Yeah. And I think that's why we've not been come after the way other podcasts have.
I think so too.
All right.
You guys are good people. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Later, deuces.